Hello, I'm Sarah, the creator of the Riot Bag, and over breakfast, over the next few days, I'm going to answer a few of your questions. And today the question is, why do you manufacture in China rather than a place like the UK where I'm from? So there are two answers. One is a general one about industries, and one is a very specific one to the Riot Bag and my time of creating the Riot Bag. So the general one is that the Riot Bag is a very complex textile. It's made up of nearly 100 pieces. It is made of about 10 different materials, and or probably about 15 if you take all of them into account. And basically, the UK and Europe doesn't have a complex textile industry anymore that is prepared to actually make this sort of design. It doesn't have the skill set in terms of the people who actually make the stuff, and it doesn't have the industry set up to support the creating of this sort of thing. So the reason I actually manufacture it in China is because China is set up to make these sort of products. This is the place in the world to do it. Or in fact, there are quite a few countries in Asia who do this fantastically. It's what they want to do. They're looking for clients who've got products like this because they specialize in making this sort of thing. So people often think that making something in China is the easy way out, or means that it'll be a low quality product, or that I'm only doing it because it's cheap. I totally disagree. The reason I'm doing it here is because because this is where I can make a Riot Bag. This is where it's possible to make one. Every so often I do speak to European manufacturers. When I show them the designs, they say, that is too complex. If you have a simpler design, let us know. So that's the general reason. The industry is not there to actually make this sort of product in Europe. And just on a sort of second point in that, there isn't just one factory in China that is creating the Riot Bag. There is a factory where they are physically made, but there are hundreds of suppliers around that factory that are relatively close by or in a very tight network with my factory to be able to create all of the materials, any materials I need in order to make that Riot Bag. And if, when I'm at the factory, I see that there's a problem with a zip or a certain part of the backpack that hasn't been noticed, then in these final few weeks, I can say, we need to have these zips right before I leave, in which case they can very quickly go to their supplier, have it remade because it's an emergency, and get it back into the factory within a few days. And so you need the factory that is capable of doing what you're trying to make, and then you need the secondary industries that support that factory. And that is what you find here, a real industry, like a complex industry that is set up to make these sort of complex textiles. And secondly, when I first wanted to create the Riot Bag, Riot stands for revolution in user thinking. It's a safe backpack for urban travel. And so I had this dream of saying, I really wish I could make it in a place like Manchester, because the Industrial Revolution was built in Manchester on textiles. Wouldn't that be the perfect place? But in reality, firstly, I can't make there be an industry where there isn't one, just because it happens to fit with my company's philosophy. But I did try calling many factories around there, and they simply didn't want to take the project on. They were so disparaging about it, oh, do you really want to, and they asked me questions like, what kind of a finish do you want on this? And I said, it's got to be really professional, laptop backpack, and they said, oh, well, you know, we don't really do that sort of thing. And they didn't want to do that sort of thing. And when you're starting out on your lifelong, you know, something, you've given up your job, you're trying to make a really good thing, you need a manufacturer who is in the same place as you, as in they want to do this, they can do this, they're going to try and do their best to make it happen. That's what you need. And having a manufacturer that is not quite happy to do what you're doing is not a good start, because the product at the end will not be good. So, and I remember speaking to my prototyping company at the time and saying, I'd love to get it made in the UK. And they said that you cannot find, you won't find the ability to make this well here. And we talked about a few examples of where UK companies had attempted to make things like this and ended up having to have their products sent to China in order to complete them properly and then bring them back. So I am here because this is the place where these things happen. There's a reason that everything is made, that most of our backpacks are made in China. It's because they know how to do it here. And that is the reason I manufacture in China. So I hope that helps to give you a little bit of insight to the realities around complex textile creation in 2017.